Hello, YouTube subscribers. Today or tonight, whenever you're watching this, I am doing another horror movie review. And, just like yesterday, I am doing, um, the second movie review of Final Destination. Uh, Leading up to basically, the new Final Destination that I'm gonna see, uh, this, this upcoming weekend. Uh, but um, uh, but today, until I review the newest one, uh, today I'm reviewing the second one, the second Final Destination. Just like yesterday, I was reviewing the very first Final Destination movie. Oh boy. Okay. Like I said in yesterday's review for the very first Final Destination movie, I was trying to find nitpicks. I was trying to find negativity throughout the very first movie, but it was hard for me to find that because like I said, with it always being the very first movie, it it always ends up being the best one out of the franchise. Sometimes the sequels do better than the very first movie. Sometimes the sequels are not that good, but still good enough to stand behind the first movie. But with this one, the second one, Final Destination 2, honestly, if there was never a Final Destination 2, and if this movie came out now in this era of generation, I truly feel like it would fall in the category of legacy sequel because honestly, we have one of the old members from the first movie returning to come in and help the new cast, the new victims in this situation. But since it didn't come out in this era of horror movies where it is basically full of requels and legacy. And since it did come out like 3 years after the first movie, but it quotes in the movie that it's taking place 1 year later after the first movie, but release wise, it took 3 years um, to release the second movie. Uh, Now, my negatives about the second movie is that they killed off Alex off screen, which, not trying to be mean, I hate that idea. Honestly, I really do, because as you follow through the first movie, liking Alex as our main character, as our main savior type thing in the first movie, but I understand he was doing something else at the time. It was clashing through that schedule, so they quoted to kill him off screen, which I hate, including the most stupidest way ever. If you actually pause the movie just right to read how he died, it was just the most stupidest, pathetic way. How the main how our main hero victim died off screen, including Nacho Mamin, the actor that plays Alex. The dude cannot get a break, because honestly, the dude just dies in anything he's in, so far as I know of. Final Destination, Chucky season 1 through 3. He died twice in season 1. He died once in season 2, and twice again in season 3. So the dude, and then on top of that, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly after watching it once, Hard Eyes, he died. He died in Hard Eyes. So the dude cannot get a break. But if you know him in another horror movie that I don't know about, please drop that in the comments down below and let me know that movie, that horror movie, that he survives in, so I can be corrected on that. But I like how they brought in his girl, the actress back from the first movie that played his girlfriend, or his somewhat build up to love interest from the first movie. I like how they brought her back, and that's why I was saying if it was dropped in this generation of era of horror movies, it would be considered a legacy sequel. But um uh um but basically this accident is basically a road accident where a bunch of people were driving on the road, and all suddenly the trucker, the back of the semi chains broke, and all these logs just started falling and fall off the truck and start hitting a few cars, and that just becomes a pile up. And it's the anniversary, and on that day is the anniversary of Flight 180, which the number 180 will happen currently out throughout each movie. So I'm actually, so by that idea of Flight 180 flows throughout each film, okay, sure, the second movie I understand because it's re-mentioning the first movie, but it pops back up, and the third movie, which sure, the third movie does bring back up the first movie, but before that it mentions, it pops in a few times, and then and I think, and then in number 4, and then in number 5. So I'm thinking in this new one, this upcoming one, we'll get a hint of Flight 1, well, not Flight, but the number 180. So back to the second one anyway. So after the follow up of of this time a girl having the vision, she she stops, and then all suddenly get a cop that ends up being one of the victims, which I have a negative for that part. For not the part that he kind of walks up to her and questions her, but more thoroughly out the movie of his character. But he asks her a few questions doing his cop duty, and then now suddenly after she sees the semi go by, like a few minutes later after he sees the accident, he goes back to his car, and then he saves her. He moves her out of the way after her friend still in her vehicle gets smashed by a semi, which, like a few minutes still in the beginning, she blames herself after that accident. I guess she feels like that she made her. She was the one that killed her friends, and she was the one that lived. They do re-mention again what happened with Flight 180 and the survivors that got off. and the possibility how it could, and how this incident could be the same as that incident. Just the accident is different. There's a few people that didn't believe her. The cops slowly, like, automatically did. Even though it showed that he had his doubts, he automatically did. And then later on of this movie, the second Final Destination, you learn in some way, shape, or form that this is a full circle type thing. That basically, after, not really after, but like, this is a full circle type situation that you find out, like, later on, in the movie, that basically the victims in the crash, or at least the ones that lived so far to the ending point, basically, one guy took a he said that he was taking a teacher's place at a old school, that the teacher was leaving, and go because the teacher was moving, and that, which was hinting the teacher that died in the house explosion. And then which he also said that he almost died that day from a kid bringing a gun to school that was about to kill that teacher. Okay. I guess she was right in the first movie. She really couldn't feel safe, because I guess even kids blame her for, which, who knows, she probably wasn't that teacher, but I bet she was. And then, there's one person that said, that he had 2 tickets to a movie that a building collapsed on top of people, but he couldn't make that movie only because he was stuck he got stuck in Paris, totally freaking hopped on drugs and shit, right by a cafe that the sign dropped on Carter at the very end of the first movie. And then the cop from the beginning, he said that his partner got shot right when he got called into the train incident, because he said he got called in for some type of, to check out some train car crash, and that during that his partner died, and he said if which that was the where he also said he was cleaning up a body, and as we know, that's the part where Billy died at, and that was the body he was cleaning up. But if he wasn't called into that, he would have died along with his partner. So, as we found out in the beginning, death is working backwards, not from the first person that died in the accident all the way down to the last, but morely to the last to the first, down the line of the list. And because somehow in some way, everybody but our main character is all tangled by the people from the first movie. Now, our main character that had the vision, she had no connection in some whatever to the people in the first movie. She just blames her mom. Not her mom, but she blames herself. She thinks that she should have died instead of her mom, because her mom was a fighter, and she and her kid, and there was a bunch of kids that tried to steal from her mom outside of the house, and then all of a sudden she hears a gunshot and sees sees her mom dead from the kids shot her mom, and she just blames herself and thinks she should have been the one that died instead of her mom, which, not saying anything negatively about that, but I just don't. So compared to the rest that actually have good stories to be somewhat connected to the main cast from the first movie, our main character has backstory, has no connection so whatever to our fucking main cast from the first movie. She's just a rando character that just got thrown into the mix. Great. Anyway, so, and then and then Tony Todd returns, which I like how he returned and explained how you can defeat death by bringing in new life. New life has a death, and new death has a new life, and always brings life. Where there's death, there's a life, and where there's new life, there's always has death. And with the new life coming in the world, rebalance and tip the scales of redoing what death originally has planned, which it's a good idea. It was a good line. It was a good speech. All that Tony Todd said in this one is very good. Don't get me wrong. It is good. But it does not make sense. Because it had nothing to do, unless this totally went over my head and basically I did not see it perfectly. But how in the hell is our main character going to sacrifice herself and then come back? Is new life. Unless you quote that, oh, well, sure, she didn't get reborn, but she got brought back to life. So in a way, that's like a new chance at life, a new direction at life. Yeah, okay, cool. But a new life. When you say a new life, you picture a baby. I mean, originally, but some people don't. They actually see that basically someone dies and you're able to bring them back to life, and then that person sees a whole new thing at life for themselves, and then yeah, hey, you can also say that's a new life. But I'm not trying to talk down on Tony Todd's scene. I just think it was a good scene, a good speech and all that. It's just it doesn't make sense the way how it did play out at the end, and basically it I don't know. I do like the second movie. I do. Don't get me wrong. I do. I like the second movie. I like the storyline. How most of the characters that we follow are somewhat connected to the characters from the main movie, from the first movie. But I don't know. I just seem to have more negative for this one than I wanted. For the first movie. Because, and it seems like it's easy to have so much hate for the second movie than the first movie. Because the second movie has so many chances to do wrong instead of good. Like how good scenes, like the cop. Okay, the cop, he was in an accident. He was the first one that died. So, and including before it could get to him, before death could even get to him, I would have actually liked to see at some point him trying to dodge death, like because he was acting all cool, he was acting safe, he was acting like he was never a part of the damn thing. And to me, I feel like that's what I hated, is that the rest of the victims got to experience their last moment of on this earth before they died, and they died. But the cop, so I just felt like it but the storyline of this movie was good. The characters in this movie is good. Could the story be a little bit more fixed up, a little bit more better? Sure. There could have been like where I mean sure, may not our main character didn't really have to be part somewhat connected. I just felt like with that, bring up all those stories and finding out, and then all of a sudden, like, our main character is not really, she's just a random character, got thrown into the mix, but, and I just don't know. I really don't. And to be directly honest, I just see the point of how much this movie tried to be a good sequel, and it did. It had some good parts. It had some good moments to be a good film. It had a good story plot. Did it succeed? Barely. Did it have some good kills? Of course. Like my favorite kill, my favorite kill. Ooh. Like my least favorite kill would have to be the elevator scene where it chopped the mom's head off. Honestly, that was like my least favorite, but my favorite. Oh yeah. Honestly, I really don't know. I really don't. Like I could say the beginning with the highway scene where the power up scene, the very beginning where it's showing the vision. I could say that is like my favorite kill because it's like all the really, but if you ask me what character had the best kill in the second movie, honestly, I really can't really say because, to be honest, a guy that fell on his back and then on top of glass and ladder, just like a part of a ladder just like slide into his eye. Sure, I guess. But no. And then um uh what else? The where our main character tried to drown herself. Okay, cool. Okay, wait, I do got a best kill. I got a good one. And sadly, this is like at the very freaking end. And honestly, this is also goes for one of my favorite funny kills is as I did have a good funny kill at the for the first Final Destination movie is basically so my favorite kill and my favorite funny scene of kill in Final Destination 2 is the barbecuing scene, is where the guy from Michael Bay's Ninja Turtle that voiced and did the movement for um, Mikey, uh, um, basically ran to the barbecue, and then all of a sudden, and then you see the barbecue explode, and all of a sudden you see like a bunch of body pieces fly away, and then an arm flies onto his mom's plate. I was like, I find that scene, a good kill because you least expect it and you did not notice until the very end, and it's actually very funny of how the scene happens. Um uh, um um but I just I can understand why now after just rewatching it. Some people can hate this movie, and also there's some people that may not hate it. So, but that's just me. Sorry, this been a long video than the first movie review, but I'm sorry about that. Drop your comments down below. What did you think of the first final? I mean, not the first. Sorry, the second movie, Final Destination. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What was your favorite parts? What was your least favorite parts? Did you at least like the storyline? Some of the characters, yada yada yada. What is your favorite Final Destination movie, comic book? And yes, there are comic books. I found that out like yesterday, last night. Um, um, hit that like button if you liked this video. Hit that dislike button if you didn't like this video. And if you didn't like this video, please drop in the comments down below what you didn't like this video about this video, and so I can change it later on. And please hit that subscribe button if you didn't hit that subscribe button yet, because I welcome all new and old subscribers with open arms, and I appreciate that you hit that subscribe button so I can keep giving you guys more content, more videos that you like, that you cherish of me doing. So have a nice day, have a nice night when you're watching this. Peace.